And good morning, boys and girls. Hopefully you're doing well. Getting ready to have 3 straight days asynchronous. Man, that stinks. Bad enough we have this distance learning stuff, but at least in the normal distance learning, I get to see my teachers for Zoom for a half hour a day. Asynchronous Thursday and Friday? Yeah, that's the bad news. The good news is the reason we're doing this is because we're having meetings discussing how to bring kids back to school, right? Yeah, get your behinds in the seats in here. Yes, yes. Looking forward to that. Hopefully, it happens fourth quarter sometime, and you get a little taste of what Windsor Middle School is all about in person. Anyway, you know the drill. Go copy all this down. Okay, do your best. See how you can do on this. Come back, check your answers, or get a hint, right? Get a hint. All right, we'll see you in a bit. Yeah, we're back. So, what two numbers have a product of 36 and a sum of 13? Well, 2 squared times 3 squared, right? 4 times 9, right? 4 times 9 is 36, and 4 plus 9 is 13. And isn't this cool? 2 squared times 3 squared is 6 squared. How cool is that? Anyway, 24 thousandths and 83 hundredths. What's going to work there? Well, 8 tenths times 3 hundredths is 3 times 8, 24. But to pretend that was an 8, I had to move the decimal 1 spot to the right. To pretend that was a 3, I had to move this decimal 2 spots to the right. So in my problem, I moved decimals a total of 3 spots to the right, 1 there and 2 there. So I have to go back 3 spots in my answer. And what do I do there? Fill in the egg carton. So that's how I get that. When I add, remember when you add decimals, you need to line up the decimals. Now, when you do that, these decimals are one on top of another. It looks kind of weird, right? You don't have something there. So let's put something there, put a 0, and then you can have it less confusing and get it right. Okay, so now that they're lined up, I can add those and you can see how we get the 8300s. Okay, now 1/6 and 5/6. Okay, remember multiplying fractions is easy, right? So I'm going to guess I'm going to have a 1 on top of 2 fractions here. Now, what times what is 6? Well, 6 times 1, but then I'd have a 1 underneath here. I'd have 1 and 1/6. I want to get 5/6. Well, what else equals 6? How about 2 and 3, right? And when I go to add these, 1/2 is the same as 3/6, and 1/3 is the same as 2/6. So when I add 1/2 and 1/3, that's like 3/6 and 2/6. I get 5/6. Okay, similar idea here. I got a 1 on top, so I'm going to guess 1 and 1 here. And what times what equals 8? Well, 8 and 1, but also 2 and 4, right? And remember, 1/2 is the same as 2/4. 1/4 is 1/4. 1/4 and 2/4 is 3/4. Okay. All right. So these will eventually become easy for you. Okay. But right now, I bet I stumped most people on that one. So don't feel bad if you didn't get it. All right. 20 times what is 800? Well, 2 times 4 is 8. Add another 0. 40 and 20. When I multiply, I get 800. And 20 times 6 is 120. 6 times what is 18? 3, and 3 times 40. Okay, now I go add these. I have 800, 120, another 120, and 18. Okay, and then I end up with 1,058. And I said to check, okay, I didn't say use standard algorithm, but I'm going to. 23 and 46. And remember how the standard algorithm works. I'm going to go 6 times 3, then 6 times 2. Then I'm going to put a placeholder and do 4 times 3. Why? Because that 4 is really 40. 4 times 3 and 4 times 2. Then I'm going to add. So 6 times 3 is 18, carry the 1. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1, 13. Now, what did I really do there? I did 6 times 20 and 6 times 3. I just did it back, right? I got the 18 and the 120, okay? And put those together, 138. Okay, now that 4 is really 40, so I'm going to put a placeholder. Go 4 times 3 is 12, carry the 1, and 4 times 2 plus 1, 8 plus 1 is 9. Okay, now what did I really do there? I did 40 times 3 and 40 times, right? And 800 and 120 is 920. You see that? Okay, 8 and 0, I'm going to put way down here because that 40 is in the way. 3 plus 2 is 5, and 9 and 1 is 10. Okay, so 1058, 1058. Good. We checked it. We got it right. Okay, next one. 3 times what is 12? 4. 3 times 1/3 is 3/3, which is 1 whole. 1/3 times what is 2/15? Well, 1 times 2 is 2. Whoops. And 3 times 5 is 15. So I'm going to say 2/5 on that, right? Just double check, and you can see it here. Okay, multiplying fractions is what? Easy. All right, 1 times 2 and 3 times 5. Okay, so that works. So now 2/5 times 4 is going to be 8/5, right? Now, why does that work? 2/5 times 4, because 4 is the same as 4 over 1. Okay, now that's improper. That equals 1 and 3/5. I go to add these. I have 12 and 1. Put the 1 up there. Then I have 1 and 3/5 and 2/15. Okay, so 1 and 12 and 1 is 14. Now this 3/5, I'm going to change that to 9/15 plus 2/15 is 11/15. Okay, so 14, 11/15. Now, how do I check this? Well, I have the problem. I'm going to flip this on the back. 3 and 2/5, 4 and 1/3. And I think I showed you this once or twice before, but I'm going to show you again. I can use this C method to make these improper fractions instead of mixed numbers. Remember, you multiply the bottom times the whole number, the denominator times the whole number, add the numerator. So 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2, 17 over 5. And 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1, 13 over 3. Now I go multiply. The bottom's easy, 5 times 3. The top, I got to go 17 times 13. Okay. So 221 over 15. Then I have to divide the bottom into the top. How many 15s fit into 221? Well, that's not so hard because I'm going to start here. 15 goes into 22 one time, right? Bring down the next number. Now, I know 15 times 4 is 60. Another 15 is going to be 75, so I'm going to say 4 here. And remember, your remainder goes on top. What was on the bottom, the divisor goes on the bottom. 14 and 11/15. Check it out. You just learned another way to multiply mixed numbers. All right. To change a fraction to a decimal, you divide the bottom into the top. So I'm dividing 8 into 1 here. Now it won't fit, so you add a decimal, bring it up, and add a 0. 8 goes into 10 one time. When I subtract, I get a 2, so what do? Add a 0, bring it down. 8 goes into 20 twice because 2 times 8 is 16. I subtract, I get a 4, so I'm going to add a 0, bring it down, and 8 goes into 40 5 times. So the decimal for 1/8 is 0.125, 125 thousandths. How do I go from decimal to percent? Move it over 2 spots, 12.5%. Okay, 2/10 is the same as 2/10. And let's simplify that because they're both even. 2 goes into the top once, it goes into 10 5 times. 2/10 as a percent, move it over 2 spots. I got that empty spot over here, right? So I have to fill it. It's 20%. Hopefully you don't say that's 2%. Move it 2 spots. Once you move it 2 spots, boom, boom, fill in the egg carton. So you make sure it's 20. Okay. Get in those habits. 25% as a decimal, move it 2 spots that way, 0.25. And that's 25 hundredths, and I know that's the same as a quarter, 1/4. Okay, 3/8, divide the bottom into the top. Won't fit, add a decimal and a 0. It goes 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24. Subtract, I get a 6. Add a 0, bring it down. 8 goes into 60 7 times. 7 times 8 is 56. Subtract. Add a 0, bring it down, and 8 goes into 40 5 times. Perfect fit. So 0.375 or 375 thousandths. And you might see, if you had a $1.25 and you times it by 3, you'd have, right, 375, 25, 25, 25, 25, 50, 75, right? So that works to make this a percent. Move it 2 spots. It's in between the 7 and the 5, 37.5%. Okay, 6/10 is 6/10, but those are both even. Let's simplify. 2 goes into 6 3 times, goes into 10 5 times. That's 3/5. And move it 2 spots, 60%. Okay, area of a trapezoid. Remember, we figured out that if I did the bottom times the height, then that's like doing this rectangle, which includes all of this that I'm not supposed to. But if I did the top times the height, then that's like this small rectangle, which doesn't include that triangle or that triangle. It's not big enough. What is it? The average of the top and the bottom. And remember, the average of the top and the bottom is the top plus the bottom divided by 2. Average of two numbers, add them up. What's the average of 20 and 30? 20 plus 30 divided by 2. Now, you know what's in the middle between 20 and 30? 25. But if I did 20 plus 30 and divided by 2, I have 50 divided by 2. 50 cut in half, 25. So you always add the two numbers divided by 2. That's going to give you the average at the top and the bottom, and then multiply it by the height. So which number do I not need in this one? I don't care about that 5.3. That's not the top or the bottom or the height. Cross it out. Now, if I was getting the perimeter, I would need that. I wouldn't need the 4, but I need this missing thing too. So they put that in there to try to confuse you, they being me, right? Or not. Maybe I didn't make this up. Maybe what I did is I got that problem from here and that problem from here and just flipped them upside down. But that's tonight's homework, right? Or tomorrow night. I don't know. Maybe it's tomorrow night's. So you have that done for you if you paid attention. By the way, I'm going to do a little commercial break here. If I were to take credit for inventing something, I wish I could take credit for inventing this. Why? I think this is like the coolest invention ever, right? First off, it is tasty, right? It is an orange, okay? But second off, it's good for you. It has vitamins packed in there. They put a bunch of vitamin C in there. It's good for you. Vitamin C helps your immune system, helps keep you healthy, right? But the other cool thing is this stays fresh for quite a long time. Why? Because it has this great wrapper, right? And you know how sometimes you drop an apple and it gets bruised? This wrapper is padded. You can drop an orange a few times and you're not going to know that you dropped it when you go eat it. Cool, huh? Plus, that wrapper is biodegradable. When you get done unwrapping this, it's biodegradable. Put it in the green waste. Don't throw it away. Put it in the green waste, man. That's biodegradable. And then when you get done, you have this orange that's been peeled. It has these little bite-sized pieces that seals in all the juices, so you don't spill any of the juices till you bite into it. Cool invention, huh? All right, file that away. That might be a question if we make an Ed puzzle out of this. All right, commercial break is over. Let's do the area of these two trapezoids. Again, add the top plus the bottom, divide by 2 times. Okay, this is the formula. Write it down. The top plus the bottom, 5 plus 12, divided by 2, times what? Times 4. 17 divided by 2, times 4. 4 times 17, I'm going to tell you right now, that's 40 plus 28. That's 68. 68 divided by 2, 68 divided by 2 is what we're doing, right? I did the 4 times 17 first. So that ends up being 34. 34 what? Area is 34 square inches. Okay, how about this one? 12 plus 16 divided by 2. Now, I can already tell you that's going to be 14, right? What's halfway between 12 and 16? 14. Okay, but that's 28 divided by 2, which is 14. Now, what do I do with that 14? Times it by the height. 14 times 5 is the same as 7 times 10. 70. Area equals 70 square centimeters. That's my answer. This is all my work. This is my answer. This is all my work. Start boxing and boxing is what we call it. All right. Hopefully you learned something today. And if not, don't forget tomorrow night's homework or Thursday night, Friday night. It's one night this week. Save that. All right. Have a good one, everybody.